Welcome to this explainer. Seriously, I'm so pumped you're here, because today we're looking at something that feels like it's ripped straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it is actually happening right now. Over the last few months, we've seen this absolutely massive, sudden explosion of AI-powered humanoid robots dominating the headlines. I mean, we're talking billions of dollars being poured into machines that walk, talk, and work just like we do. So why now? And more importantly, what does all of this mean for our future? Okay. Let's dive into this. Hey Digit, take the box with the heaviest animal and move it to Tower 4. Now that's not a line from some Hollywood script. That is literally an exact prompt given to a real-world robot named Digit. And the wildest part? Digit actually does it. It processes that command, figures out which box has the heaviest animal inside, and then just completes the task. This is the new reality of robotics.
Just to make sure we're all on the same page, we're talking about bipedal humanoid robots here. Bipedal, meaning they walk on two legs, and humanoid, meaning they share our general physical shape. But honestly, the real magic here is their semantic intelligence. These machines can interpret everyday human language. You don't have to sit there writing lines of code to get them to do something. You just talk to them, and they make autonomous decisions to assist with tasks.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. Sci-fi becomes factory reality. 2. Solving the global labor crisis. 3. How AI powers humanoids. 4. Safety protocols and standards. And 5. The global robotics arms race.
All right, jumping right into Section 1. Sci-fi becomes factory reality. Humanoids are already at work. It's really crucial to recognize that these aren't just pipe dreams anymore. The physical hardware has actually existed for decades. Think back to those early Honda or Sony robots. But what's changed is that they are actively deploying into the workforce right now. Massive companies are literally putting these machines to the test on their floors. Amazon, for example, is working with Agility Robotics to test Digit for recycling totes. Elon Musk says Tesla already has 2 Optimus robots operating in their factories. Up in Canada, Canadian Tire has been using Sanctuary AI's Phoenix robot for picking merchandise. And Mercedes-Benz, they're piloting Apptronic's Apollo for logistics. These giants are actively integrating humanoids as we speak.
Moving on to Section 2, solving the global labor crisis and why we need humanoids right now.
So why this sudden rush for humanoids? Well, it boils down to a massive global economic problem, a dire labor shortage in manufacturing and logistics. Look at this number, 300,000. That represents a very real immediate pain point. Right now, today, there are 300,000 manufacturing jobs just sitting there completely unfilled. And if you throw warehousing and logistics into the mix, that number jumps to somewhere between 600,000 and 700,000 open roles. There simply aren't enough people to do these jobs. And this brilliantly illustrates just how bad the problem is projected to get. According to Goldman Sachs, while we've got a severe shortage right now, some estimated around 500,000 open manufacturing roles, by the year 2030, that shortage is projected to absolutely skyrocket to 2 million unfilled workers. The global economy just cannot sustain that kind of labor vacuum.
Now, I know there's this underlying fear that robots are coming to steal our jobs, but here's the reality check. There are about 10 million open jobs in the US alone that people simply do not want to do. If a robot can lift a 55-pound box 100 times an hour and do it basically for the cost of electricity, it's not taking away somebody's dream career, right? It's taking on the dirty, the dull, and the dangerous jobs. And that makes cheap, highly efficient robotic labor incredibly attractive to industries that are practically begging for help.
That brings us to Section 3, how AI powers humanoids. This is the generative AI breakthrough.
Okay, so if the physical hardware has been around for decades, how did these robots suddenly take such a massive leap forward? Well, the ultimate unlock here is artificial intelligence, specifically generative AI. It allows these robots to learn through a process called teleoperation, and it's surprisingly similar to how you and I learn. Step 1, a human performs a task, like moving a box, say 200 times. Step 2, all that movement data gets recorded. Step 3, that data is fed into GPT-style generative AI models. And Step 4, the robot essentially learns how the task is done and can then perform it totally autonomously. It's an absolute game changer.
Just look at what this industry expert had to say about it. If I go into a new space, I'm now not looking at spending months trying to code that problem. I can potentially just generate it straight out of Gen AI. Think about what that means. Generative AI allows these humanoids to interact with brand new objects in totally foreign environments without needing someone to sit down and manually write fresh code for it. If you show the AI enough examples, it can start figuring out things it hasn't even been explicitly trained on.
All right, Section 4, Safety Protocols and Standards, working alongside 140-pound machines. Yes, this tech is incredibly exciting, but we really need to look at the pragmatic reality of safety here. It's one thing to interact with a smart AI on your laptop screen. It is an entirely different beast when that AI is controlling a 140-pound machine with massive torque walking around a busy warehouse. So naturally, that leads to the biggest, most common question people have. Is there a kill switch?
Well, you'll be happy to know the answer is a resounding yes. As one robotics creator put it very bluntly, it's the big red button over there. So yes, physical safety cutoffs remain the absolute first line of defense. But honestly, a big red button is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the safety conversation.
We're actually in a huge transition phase right now. Currently, a lot of robot test runs, like Agility's Digit, are operating in what's called a non-collaborative deployment phase. That simply means the robots operate strictly isolated, kept far away from human workers just to be completely safe. But the ultimate goal of the industry? That's collaborative safety. That's a rigorous, formal verification process that proves the robot is safe enough to operate right there, shoulder to shoulder with human beings.
So the crucial point is that putting a heavy machine next to a human worker requires an incredibly strict chain of regulation. It starts on a global level, with groups like the UN AI for Good Committee making high-level policy recommendations. From there, companies have to achieve formal verification through international standards to actually prove proximity safety. And finally, here in the US, OSHA, the Workplace Safety Administration, has to give the final stamp of approval for any workplace deployment. It's a highly regulated environment built from the ground up to protect workers and prevent industrial accidents.
And that leads us to our final section, Section 5, the Global Robotics Arms Race, the geopolitical battle for dominance. You see, building the smartest, safest humanoid robot isn't just an economic goldmine. It's triggered a massive geopolitical competition. Experts are literally calling this the next space race. On one side, you have the United States, which holds a huge advantage in high-end software. We're talking frontier AI partnerships with tech giants like NVIDIA, Google, and Microsoft. But on the flip side, you have China. They already completely dominate the traditional industrial robot market, plus they have massive physical manufacturing capacity, supply chains that can pump out custom parts instantly, and a frankly tremendous cost advantage.
And speaking of cost, that is arguably the single biggest roadblock to mass adoption right now, $20,000. That's the target price Elon Musk has floated for a humanoid robot, because at that price point, they suddenly become a ubiquitous tool. But let's be real, scaling an incredibly complex piece of heavy machinery down to the price of a used Honda Civic is a monumental task. Most experts agree we are easily a decade away from hitting that kind of mass market price point.
So just to summarize the final hurdles here. Before these humanoids are in every single factory, or, eventually in our homes folding our laundry, the industry has to achieve those $20K price points. They have to massively scale up their physical factories, like Agility's RoboFab in Oregon, which is aiming to build 10,000 robots a year. They've got to finalize those critical safety and OSHA regulations we just talked about, and they have to navigate a really complex, highly competitive geopolitical supply chain.
Which brings us to a final, really provocative question to leave you with. We are at the very dawn of a brand new industry. Are humanoid robots going to be the next personal computer? A tool that seamlessly integrates into our lives and gives us back our time? Or are they destined to be the center of a high-stakes geopolitical arms race? The truth is, it's probably going to be a bit of both, and it is absolutely going to change our economy forever. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope you found this deep dive as fascinating as I did.